I think I had an opportunity to meet all of you, talked about your names, where they came from, a little bit about your family history, and we're honored to be here holding this hearing and considering your nomination. I was elected governor. I'd been a naval officer in the Vietnam War, and later on moved to Delaware, got to be the treasurer, congressman, and governor. And before I was sworn in as governor, I'd been elected before I was sworn in, I was visited by a former governor, Bert Carver, and who had been governor for 8 years earlier in our state's history. And he came to give me some advice. And he said, the state of Delaware, the judiciary is incredibly important. Supreme Court, Court of Chancery, Superior Court, other courts. He said it's sort of like we punch above our weight when it comes to the judiciary in the state of Delaware. And he said, as governor, you get to nominate people to serve in these capacities. Don't screw it up. And I worked for 8 years to try to identify the very best people we could find to run as, not to run, but to be nominated and be hopefully confirmed. And in those 8 years, everyone I ever nominated was confirmed and went on to serve, I think, with just real distinction. This is really important. We had a situation, we had a split legislature, Democrat and Republican, Democratic majority in Senate, Republican majority in the House. But we actually worked together to get people confirmed and to do the best that we could. And I approach this hearing today as I do many things as a recovering governor. And I just wanted to mention that. The average time it takes, Mr. Chairman and colleagues, to fill a vacancy on the D.C. Superior Court, which you've all been nominated to serve in, is over 3 years, over 3 years. If we'd done that in the state of Delaware, we should have all been thrown out of office. It's just appalling. Justice denied, justice delayed is justice denied. But what's more, the Superior Court here in the District of Columbia has among the highest case filings per capita in the U.S., I'm told. With 83,000 case filings in 2019 alone. And so not only is the court struggling with vacancies, it's also confronting a substantial workload. These needlessly lengthy judicial vacancies have burdened the D.C. Circuit Court and the Court of Appeals, delaying justice for our fellow Americans. And as I often said, and I'll say it again, justice delayed is justice denied. The nearly 700,000 Americans who live in D.C. pay taxes. They serve our country, many times in uniform. They start businesses, they care for their neighbors, their friends, and colleagues, just like the rest of us. And yet they are not treated like every other American from our 50 states. Congress approves their budget. They have a better credit rating than we do, and we have to approve their budget. We confirm their judges, and we subject them to a higher federal per capita income tax rate than any other the 50 states. And to make matters worse, we in Congress take our time when it comes to accomplishing these tasks. Toward that end, I'm glad that we're considering these nominees today, Mr. Chairman. I look forward to working with my colleagues on both sides of the aisle, including my fellow former governors. We have some recovering governors on this panel along with me. They include Senator Hassan, Senator Scott of Florida. I want to resolve the issues of these judicial vacancies. And with that, I thank you for the chance to offer those comments. I have a question, at least one question that I'd like for us to get to. Again, when I served as governor of Delaware, it was my responsibility to nominate individuals to serve on our state's highly regarded courts, Court of Chancery, Supreme Court, and others. And considering potential candidates, I looked for the following 5 attributes: sound moral character, a complete knowledge of the law, a willingness to listen to both sides of an argument, good judicial temperament, and the ability to make difficult decisions with sound reasoning within a reasonable period of time. Could each of you please take maybe a minute apiece to discuss the importance of having these attributes as a judge, and how, if confirmed, you would bring these qualities to the District of Columbia's Superior Court as an associate judge? Mr. Arnold, please. Is it Carol? Arthur, Mr. Yes. Arthur, I can barely see your name tag. There we go. All right, take it away, please.
Thank you, Senator. You characterized the standard for which I try to hold myself to every day that I appear in court. Again, I've been a judge now for nearly 11 years.
So I should address you as judge, Arthur. You're not just, this is not your first rodeo.
It works. I will say, again, every day that I enter my courtroom, I make sure that I ensure that every person is heard, that every case is addressed, and that I make fair and efficient decisions.
Good, thank you. I think the default here is for your work, and if you're confirmed for this post, the default here is golden rule, trying to figure out what to do, treat other people the way you want to be treated. I think that always works. Ms. Briggs?
Thank you for the question, Senator. Those standards you listed are embodied in what I think the role of a judge is. And if I'm fortunate enough to be confirmed, I will make sure that I understand the law, that I gather the facts, and that I fairly hear from the litigants and then apply that law to the facts in making any rulings and decisions. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Mr. Ross?
Thank you, Senator. I also agree that the characteristics that you described embody what I hope to be as a judge if confirmed. Impartial, ensuring that I treat all litigants equally that come before the court, moving the court's docket efficiently, and making sure that any opinions that are issued are clear and concise.
Good. Before the hearing began, we had a chance to talk a little bit. Your middle name is Ezekiel, and I told you, I mentioned I've been reading through the Old Testament, and came across Ezekiel quite a bit. And you're named after him, I believe. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Can you think of any qualities that Ezekiel demonstrated that you might want to embrace as a member of the bench here in the District of Columbia? Anything come to mind?
Patience, Senator.
All right. To that, I'll just say amen. All right. Have one other question. I'm going to ask the other question for the record, if I could, and just ask all of you just to respond for the record. Is that all right, Mr. Chairman? All right, good. Still want you to respond, but we'll just ask you to respond for the record, and I can get back to my other hearing that I'm supposed to be at. In looking over your biographies and looking through your opening statements, I noticed that you all have a strong connection to the District of Columbia, whether through your personal life or your professional life. And I admire your desire to take on these roles and continue giving back to this community through public service. The job of an associate judge on the D.C. Superior Court is no small task, given the backlog and the extended judicial vacancy the court is currently facing. The question I'm going to ask you to answer on, for the record, is this. Could each of you take some time to share with us in writing why you want to take on the role of D.C. Superior Court judge, and how you will use your service to ensure that your fellow Americans are expeditiously and justly granted their day in court? And I'll ask you to do that for the record. In the meantime, from what I can tell, what my staff tells me, you're ideally well-suited for these roles. And we're grateful to you for your willingness to serve. Grateful to your families for their willingness to share you with the folks of the District of Columbia. All right, thank you. Thanks, Mr.